Welcome back to Sarah's Table. Tonight I get to play a two-person RPG with my partner that I have bamboozled into joining me here on the stream.
Bamboozled.
Bamboozled. It's true.
That's okay.
My name is Sarah Moore. My pronouns are she, her, and tonight we are going to be playing an RPG called A Single Moment. It is written by Tobie Abad. And it is about samurai. So clearly there's going to be an epic battle of some kind. I don't know which of us is going to come out on top.
I don't know.
But I'm very excited to find out.
We'll find out soon enough, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah, otherwise what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. So before we get started, I'm going to do a quick safety discussion. I think that's very important as a responsible gamer and game master and human being. Here on Sarah's Table, you will never find sexual violence, violence against children, or withholding food as punishment or starvation. Jeff, is there anything else that you would like to avoid at the table tonight?
Nope, nothing beyond those.
Okay, great. If something happens and we do wander into territory that you discover you are uncomfortable with, you can always throw up an X. Yeah, make the noise if you would like. Or you can just let me know verbally, or you can message me and we will steer in another direction. I am going to give you a moment and let you introduce yourself, because I did just call you my partner and then just moved on. So,
yeah.
Who are you?
You said my name at least once.
At least once.
My name's Jeff. I am a filmmaker and gamer. I run lots of games. I run most of the games I play in, so this is a rare treat for me. I am a he, him. Those are my pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at JWMore511 or at Lands Vanishing for the game I'm currently writing, which is called The Vanishing Lands. We've had some good response to it so far, but we're still in playtest. We're hoping to have something ready by the end of 2022.
Oh, so close.
Yeah.
We can make it. We can make it.
The game is done. It's the setting information that I'm struggling to write because I'm trying to be too economical and not as florid as I should be for setting stuff. I need to just take the governors off and just full throttle it.
Yeah. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I believe in us.
It's happening one way or the other.
It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So back to this single moment, this very important single moment. The structure of this game is as if you were watching a samurai film. And this is that moment of tension where the two samurai are facing off. There's a tiny description here. The two samurai stared at each other. Once they were friends, brothers. But time has come for honor to be regained and vengeance to be unleashed. Footing adjusted, grips tightened, eyes narrowed. A single moment, and it was over. Yeah, that's the one. Just really get it in there. So there's not a whole lot of things that you need to play this game. So if people at home are interested in playing this, I got it at Drive-Thru RPG. There is a first edition, which is what we are playing, called A Single Moment. They have since updated a bit, I think, to tighten things up. And that is called A Second Moment. That is also available on Drive-Thru RPG. For this one, I chose to do the OG one. So all you need are your two players. We're going to play the role of samurai. And we have a duel to settle. You need one sheet of paper for each player to write character and story notes, and a handful of 6-sided dice. And then also, we are going to be collecting tokens. If we were in person, we would probably be actually using physical tokens, but because we are playing virtually, which is funny because you are just a room away, but in order to record, we are going to be using, we can just track them along here. So you need on your character sheet a place for choice tokens, a place for hatred tokens,
Okay.
scar tokens,
Scar.
and edge tokens.
Okay. Got them.
And they want to make a point that this is much more narrative driven. And it is, the idea is not to win over your partner, but
Woo.
woohoo! But like there is going to be a definitive winner according to the dice, because it is a duel and someone will be triumphant and someone will not be.
The real winners are the duelists we've laid waste to along the way.
Along the way. Yeah, for sure. So the structure of this game is that there is an opening scene, and then there are several chapters, and then you do the finale, which is technically the eponymous single moment, just the moment in the duel. And then you do a little epilogue where you just get to like a little post credits about what happens to your characters, which I think is pretty cool.
Agreed.
So, opening scene. Here we go. Let's dive in.
We don't need to know anything else other than that. Like we're just table stakes.
Yeah, because what you end up doing in your opening scene is this is how you are crafting your character. So it happens in a scene as if we are being introduced in a film.
Perfect. On board.
And you and the other player are standing face to face, ready for that final act of violence. There's one thing certain. Someone must die when that moment ends. So we're supposed to start with a player who last saw a martial arts movie or documentary.
I would have a real hard time believing that's not me.
I also would have a really hard time believing that is not you.
All right. I will, for the good of the game, I will go.
So, the first thing you do is make your declaration. You need your name and the name of your clan. So you will be saying, my name is blank. I am of the blank clan. This is my story.
Does it matter at all if I don't know anything about like samurai culture or like I'm not going to name my character Hamburger, for example, but I
appreciate that.
But
but you could.
Okay.
I don't think that it needs to be.
I don't want to make a single decision that like sets a tone that we don't want to.
No, I don't think, and I don't think that we need to really worry about making sure that it is seated in traditional samurai culture. Like we're using the trappings of all of it, but like it doesn't have to be a traditional samurai name, for example. I think that we can sort of frame it as such, but it doesn't need to be that way, especially because neither of us know a ton about samurai.
Right. So remind me the prompt again.
My name is blank. I am of the blank clan. This is my story.
Great. My name is Goro. I am of the Nakamura clan. This is my story.
It's a good story. I can't wait to hear it. Oh. I have to do it next. But I don't know what it is. I can use a previous name that I've used. I will say
Yeah.
Oh, I need a clan name. All right, hold on.
I
Looking
would
it up.
I'll be honest, I was really close to being from Clan Nakatomi,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but that felt a little like a character name of hamburger.
It did.
Boy, I really feel like I missed out on something here.
It's all right. You're doing great.
I'll work a hamburger in. Mark my words.
All right. Okay. Making a note.
Notes are good.
I love notes. Okay. My name is Kasori. I am of the Ushinata clan. This is my story. And now we do opening declarations. We're going to take turns. You went first, so you will do the first and third, and then I will do the second and fourth.
Okay.
And you will get a prompt. So your opening declaration is it is during a time of. So you can describe with as much detail as you want when the story occurs, perhaps the season, perhaps the year, like give us the time.
We're looking for temporal relevancy.
Mm-hmm.
It is a time of falling leaves. I think that's all you need.
Okay. Stop and then.
It is a time of falling leaves, and I think that's all you need. This guy's not got a great way with words.
He's doing great.
He is.
I feel
he's trying.
It's really all we need.
Yeah.
My next opening declaration is describing the locale, which also may suggest technology or general state of the environment.
Okay.
And I think, okay, we stand upon the abandoned alleys of the city. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I think so. I think again, like I could have gone into more, but that feels correct.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You are going to describe the length of time that the narrative will eventually take. Even give the game an epic feel if the timelines are longer than typical human lifespans. So your prompt is, it has taken us blank to come to this single moment.
Gotcha. It has taken us decades to reach this single moment.
Perfect. So we've got, it is during a time of falling leaves.
Mm-hmm.
We stand upon the abandoned alleys of the city. It has taken us decades to come to this single moment. And the last one is, the story is a story about, and I'm going to draw one of the virtue cards.
Virtue cards, you say?
The 7 virtues of Bushido.
Ooh. And there are cards that match these.
Correct.
Great.
Oh. This is a story about honesty and sincerity. There is no need for written pledges. One's word is one's bond.
Interesting. I wonder what it all means.
Honesty and sincerity. Well, as we are playing, as we are doing our chapters, there will be something for each one that is like specific to the chapter, but also we must keep honesty and sincerity in mind. This is the guiding virtue for the entire tale.
Got it. Is it now? I should ask. Are we talking strictly that we are acting in accordance with honesty and sincerity, or
Could
we
be
can
lack thereof.
address it? Okay, that's
But
you
like,
anticipated my question.
yeah, something about honesty and sincerity is the overarching thing to all of this.
Got it. Yes.
We have moved into the chapters phase of the story.
Oh,
That was our opening scene. It introduced the two of us. It set the overall theme and tone of the game. And now each of the chapters is a flashback to something that happened leading up to this moment.
okay.
So we are going to be building our story together. Friendship, trust, love, jealousy, whatever it was that brought us here.
Okay.
And as we are doing so, it's going to reveal more of our personalities and the reason why we are here doing this duel. So the first thing that we are going to do is draw another virtue. And I'm going to have you go. You were player one, so I'm going to have you go first. So if you could give me roll a d6, and there are 6 virtues left, so I'm just going to have you roll it instead of
great
drawing.
6. I rolled a 6.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the guiding theme in this particular chapter focus is loyalty. One's loyalty is more precious than life itself.
Okay.
So the next step is declaring the focus of the chapter, inspired or based on that virtue draw. There are some key focuses.
Okay.
And you may choose, as the active player, you get to choose which one you would like to focus on.
So there's like a list, a finite list.
Correct.
Okay.
The time when we still trusted each other, the moment you crossed the line, or the promises. And because these are all flashbacks, they don't have to be told in chronological order. So
okay.
It's
not like an act 1, act 2, act 3 kind of situation.
No, it's because it's going through the mind and the eyes of each character. So if you really wanted to do the moment you cross the line first, that's totally fine.
Sure. I liked the first one was the time when we still trusted each other. Was that it?
The time when we still trusted each other.
Yeah, I think that's a great focus.
Okay. And now you get to set the scene.
Excellent. Before I do that, tell me, you're Kasori.
I'm Kasori.
Kasori, you're a he, a she,
a she,
a they, she.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I took not enough notes while you were talking, but
that's okay.
Now I have all of them. I think we'll see. Okay, so now I get to set the scene. I'm painting the picture here. Yeah.
Yeah, and would you like? Here's another thing that you can choose.
Ooh, choices.
Yeah. You get to. We have opted for a 3-chapter game.
Mm-hmm.
In the notes, this game says you can make it a 5-chapter game. You can make it a 7-chapter game, as many as virtues there are, or you can choose to not have virtues in every single one of them. So you can make it like a big, long, epic sort of thing. Prior to this, Jeff and I sat down and we said we're gonna do a 3-chapter. It's going to be like movie length kind of a thing. So you have chosen your focus, your virtue focus, and what's happening with the scene. You now get to assign a key role. So
okay,
this can be about the catalyst, the victim, or the coveted. The catalyst is perhaps the reason that the single moment has come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Examples are perhaps it is the sly tongue that spurs you to action, or the pained mother who asks you to avenge her murdered husband, or the lord you serve who demands you follow his command. The victim is the one who suffers the tragedy which one of the samurai could not stop. Or the coveted, which is the person that holds the affections, respect, or trust that one samurai has, which the other so desperately desires.
Okay. And we're thinking we're telling the story of one of these things during this scene.
During this flashback. Yeah. So okay. your flashback is the time when we still trusted each other.
Mm-hmm.
And your virtue was loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about the catalyst, the victim, or the coveted, and the two of us.
Okay. So I kind of like the idea of the like person who popped into my head
mm-hmm.
is kind of all of those things. There's I like the idea that we're starting this as sort of younger adults, right?
Okay.
Or even like late teens, and we are charged with training the young of our clans, and our clans are friendly, so we train together because we have a common border that we have to defend together, and we have to trust each other. And I like the idea that there may be one sire of the clan, or one young person who is wavering, or is maybe favors the other person's clan in a way that would be inappropriate, or something like that. I don't know 100% what I think that is, but I like the idea that I think that can speak to loyalty, but also touch on these other pieces that we're talking about.
Okay.
And it feels like a catalyst type thing. Now that I say it, it's probably more that, because they have to do something to create the tension, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And
thank you for letting me talk that.
It is a young person who, and whose clan did they favor?
Well, I'm happy with them being of the Nakamura clan, and perhaps they've, we'll say it's a young man who's fiery and passionate in a way that we do not condone. But, maybe there's a little bit of Romeo and Juliet sort of in here, right?
Sure.
And I think Ushinata, is that the...
Ushinata is my clan, Ushinata. Yes.
I feel like perhaps that's a bit more acceptable.
To show more emotion?
Yeah. It's humans and Vulcans.
Sure, yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay. We did, because they're not in chronological order per se, it is okay if one of these key figures dies in one of the scenes, but shows up in one. That doesn't mean they're off the table.
Gotcha.
For future scenes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all of our key points. It is time to play through the chapter. Okay. There are going to be 7 choice tokens awarded, and because you are the active player, you get to decide who they go to, either me or you.
Okay.
And we will do a roll at the end, and you're essentially adding to the dice pool for each person.
You said specifically choice tokens.
Choice tokens.
Got it. Okay.
So we're going to be going through, you are going to be acting as the GM, as the active player.
Oh, you got me.
Don't worry, I will be the GM in the next one. I promise you will be. This is a shared GM experience.
Yes, I'm teasing.
I know. I'm just, just explaining for all of the copious amounts of viewers
TV
that we
land.
have. TV for all of those out in TV land. So this is the choice tokens are whenever conflicts arise in the scene, any kind of conflict, dramatic moment, disagreements, physical altercations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens with the choice tokens. And if it goes in your favor, you take the choice token. And if it goes in my favor, you give me the choice token.
Got it.
And then
that's something we decide when it happens.
Correct.
Okay.
And then and then we will resolve at the chapter climax.
Okay. Great.
So we're going to go through. You're going to be assigning 7 choice tokens. So set us up. We are here with this, the two of us with this. Are we alone with this young man of your clan?
I don't think alone, but the scene is insular. I think this is I think this is like a nice early summer kind of day, right? It's beautiful out where everybody's training outside. So everybody's spread out in a way that we can't do indoors.
Okay.
So there are pockets of people practicing things and working their skills and developing and learning and getting better.
Yeah.
There's sort of a nice garden on the grounds, and I think this is in that like extraterritorial area, sort of on the verge between the two clan lands, to where they've perhaps decided that this is sort of shared. They share responsibility here, so they also use this to train together because we need to. So I don't think any one clan claims this area here.
Okay.
But the 3 of us are working together at the moment. The young student's name is Senji.
Okay.
And he's currently practicing. He's working through forms of some martial art that I don't have the vocabulary for.
Yeah. I think I would be maybe out there. I'm gonna invite him to spar with me.
Mm-hmm. Great. So in my role, I immediately would take on Goro would immediately take on the role of sort of referee. Like I think that's the agreement, right?
Okay.
Whoever is not actively sparring, their responsibility is to maintain a safe and productive environment, because our primary goal is his development.
Right.
Great.
And I am pushing him physically.
Like taxing?
I'm trying to
mm-hmm.
show him that you are not always super rested when you are fighting. And so I'm like a more experienced warrior, I would say. And so I'm like not letting him rest between. I'm like just really like driving.
Yeah. I think the scene that we see is it's like it's the sparring scene, right? But I think there's like you even have like point flags that you keep just to
Mm,
say, okay, it's time to reset.
right.
Um, and I think we're seeing Kosori's flag over and over.
Hmm.
Every once in a while, Senji's goes up, but it's mostly Kosori just like relentlessly driving and driving and driving to the point where he's I think you're backing him up to sort of the edge of there's like this decking
Yeah.
that you've crossed onto, and there's a like a koi pond, right?
Mm,
And he's backed all the way up to there. He's really starting to look tired now. He's obviously had it,
hmm.
right? So what do you want to do about that?
I think this is training, and I think I'm continuing to go. I think this is a point of contention between the two of us. Are you going to allow me to knock him on his butt, really? Or are you going to step
Mm-hmm.
in?
Yeah, I think that I think Goro's decision in that moment is to I think his general tendency is to preach thoughtfulness and wisdom,
Mm.
which is sort of his way of going, when the time comes, she'll make the right decision.
Oh,
But there's no way for you to know what he thinks the right decision is.
mm-hmm.
So for sure, he's not going to stop whatever you're going to do.
Okay. Well, then I feel like I probably got a token out of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I think I knock him into the koi pond. Just
Yeah. What do you like plant a foot on him and just like kick him in, or
yeah.
yeah. So he tumbles into, and he's splashing and he's angry. He's just exclaiming.
Yeah.
He's furious. And he's all tangled up in the plants and everything that are in
Yeah.
there. And the fish are like, what
What are you doing?
Get out of here.
This is my house. Why'd you come into my house?
We don't come into yours. But he's he's pulling his hair back out of his eyes, and Goro steps in between, and he gives Kasori a look, and he reaches a hand out to Senji, who slaps it away, and Goro with his other hand grabs his hand,
Mm-hmm.
his wrist,
Yeah.
and yanks him up out of the water, and like surprisingly strong.
Mm-hmm.
He's just holding him like just off the ground by his arm, but Senji's kind of holding himself up, right? He's not like
Right.
dangling, but he's like, so they're both clearly strong, and there's sort of a bit of a standoff in an unspoken moment between them. And Goro says, "Patience. I hope you can appreciate what she is trying to teach you," which I'm sure Kasori would be happy to explain in great detail if you need help. And he starts to protest, but Goro puts his hand up. Kasori, please.
Your enemy is not going to wait for you to rest and reset.
And they look at each other. And he looks, Senji's calming down, sets him back down on the decking, helps like wick away some of the water.
I'm a kick him into the koi pond again.
As soon as you do, and I think you take another choice token for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Goro is going to, with that same quick reflex, he's going to reach out and grab your foot after you've already kicked Kenji. Like
he's already in there.
Kenji's in,
yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. He's back in, but now he's holding your foot.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to learn the whole lesson today.
We can't coddle him. He's supposed to be going out soon. You've been too soft on him.
You're pushing him too hard. Give him time. And he lets go of your
So,
foot.
who won the? You get to decide how that goes. Somebody should get a token for that, for sure. That feels like you
Yeah.
to me.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't really feel like anybody.
It's
That's a time will tell kind of thing, but I guess this feeds time, right?
yeah.
The tokens are what will help tell. Senji's clearly furious. He's not happy about what's going on. He jumps up out of the water and he's seeing red, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's rampaging.
Mm-hmm.
So he charges you
Great.
immediately, and he does so quickly enough that Goro's like swipe for him. He can't catch him in time.
Yeah.
This time. And he breaks off, like he pulls out like a water plant, like not bamboo, but like something reedy,
Something, yeah. Mm-hmm.
flexible, but like firm, right?
Like whippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He yanks it out with him, and there's like mud trails behind him, and he's, he does the kind of like not a full blown like Naruto thing, but he's charging and like whipping this thing into position that he can get it like positioned for himself to attack with it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Goro is going to yell for him to stop, and now people around are starting to watch because this is creating a big ruckus that nobody else has to deal with.
Doing a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, something's happening.
I'm going to say this is another choice moment because you're yelling at him to stop, and I'm going to say, no, let him come. This is also a good lesson. Fighting angry, knowing what that does to you is a good lesson. So I'm encouraging. So are you stepping in and stopping, or are you letting? Like, I think you would have to physically step in to stop him.
Yeah,
Like,
I think this is where the wisdom of the moment is to stop him from fighting angry. He doesn't want him to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
He wants him to see that that's not the case. Just obviously the wrong choice, because he just needs to get his butt whipped a few times, clearly.
Sure.
But I think Goro is going to, when he initially slipped by and he calls for him, he immediately lunges and he's racing for him. And as he's closing in, Kasori's sort of setting, right?
I'm ready. Like,
all right.
Here we go.
So I'm watching the whip.
Hands out. I don't know where to stop.
And Goro comes in and like wraps up tackles his legs, and they tumble and pop up right in front of you, to the point where the three of them are all kind of clustered together, and Senji is still beyond reason. So he attacks, and he's, they're slapping and whipping at each other. I think Kasori definitely is involved, but is not she's not currently taking the brunt of his fury.
I'm sort of catching the strays and stopping it from.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think you get a choice token for you actively were stopping what I had said I wanted to do. I think Kasori is now going to try to, like, there was enough, I think she's catching enough like clocking at this point that she's like, all right, this kid, it needs to be taken down a peg. So
this actually does hurt. So
it does, I mean, it does hurt. So I think she is going to actively try to pin Senji.
Okay. Goro is certainly not going to intervene. He's busy.
Right.
You know, he's aware that Kasori is there, but I think what he wants is for the fight to stop, and Kasori has the best chance of doing that. So I think that is a choice token for you.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
and I'm going to say I do because he's kind of irrational in
Oh
his
yeah.
fight, that he's making not great choices. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think Kusura is able to get Senji uh, like kind of like at the back of his knee so that it buckles, and then she like brings his arm back behind. And like she probably doesn't have to, but she is making it hurt a little. Just enough to
Yeah,
like,
enough to prove a point.
yeah, and to like sort of clear
Mm-hmm.
his brain a little bit.
Yeah, he's obviously angry. He's, you know, losing it.
Yeah.
Um, and Goro effectively has you sort of like you've got him locked up, right? He's not
Sure
going
do.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So Goro is going to get sort of into his face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm imagining that he's sort of down at this point. You've
Yeah.
got him like and he's just gonna get down there and look him in the eye and just not ready. And he's gonna step back and walk away.
Mm. Uh, Kisara is going to call after you. Goro, we need to keep going with him. He's going to go out soon, whether we like it or not.
Perhaps we can find him some work in the kitchens or the laundry, something more befitting of somebody of his temperament. He's not turned around at this point, but he did stop. And he's saying this loudly enough
It's for everybody to
the
hear.
crowd can definitely hear.
Do you think that moment went in your favor or in mine?
In yours, absolutely. Because with the mental state that Senji has been nurturing here,
Yeah.
there's 100% that this is not calming him down for sure. This is the way that Goro succumbs to his emotional side.
Sure.
This is his bad choice. I think that's where he turns around. How many do you have now?
I have 4. You have 2.
Two. So
We have 1 left.
One left. I turn back around. And well, Senji, what do we do with you? And I think that's where he takes a moment to look around. And everybody's stopped. Everybody's watching now. And he gets real close again, so only the 3 of us can hear what he's saying. Everyone can see that you're a strong fighter, but everyone needs to see that you can be a strong leader. And strong leaders do not rush in head first. I need you to appreciate that. Please. I don't know if any of this is sinking in.
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it. No. So this is where Goro looks up to Kasori and says, I know that our 2 clans have different methods, but can you please impart upon him how important it is for a soldier of Clan Nakamura to fight wisely.
I think the way that Kasori is going to do that is to just like release him.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, I think, what she thinks Goro would do.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's her de-escalation.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one to you. We'll do it your way.
Yeah.
This is that moment in The Mummy where
right.
where Rick hands her the key and is like, we'll try it your way. Like,
yeah, you know,
sure. So I think she's like, all right. And she like drops him essentially, just like hands up away.
I'm taking that choice token.
Take that choice token. That seems right.
And I think the moment that I don't want to wrap the scene. It feels like there are other steps, but I feel like this is a good spot to end a scene.
Absolutely.
I think the moment that we see is that like that slow push on Senji's face, and he's bloodied a bit, and he's dirty, and he's wet, and he's just
mad,
seething, but he's keeping his tongue, biding his time, perhaps
biding his time. Yeah. So here is what happens now. 4 decisions went in my favor, and 3 decisions went in your favor. So now that means that I reward you my amount. So you get 4 dice to start with in your thing. And I will have 3 dice in my
pool.
In my pool, in the koi pond, if you will, that we kept kicking Senji into.
Fish boy.
So to the chapter climax. So you may choose to add extra die to your pool. For each die that you want to add, you would take a scar.
Can you give me an example of what that would look like?
It could be a physical scar, like that happened during the fight, or it could be like an emotional.
Like if I thought that Senji and Goro were like permanently their relationship was permanently damaged as a result of this, that would be a scar.
Correct.
Okay. I actually kind of like that.
Okay. So then you can add 1 more die. You can't have more than 7 dice at the end of this chapter. Like you couldn't just be like, I take a bunch of scars and I have 12 dice.
One of these is the scar. So I need to make a note of what that scar is.
Yes, please. And mark a scar then underneath your thing.
Got it.
And then there's also a thing that's called Things Align. And as a group, the 2 of us need to decide which samurai represented the virtue best in this chapter. So loyalty was what was guiding this chapter.
I think Kasori lived loyalty in a couple of very interesting ways. I think that like her entire stance was we need to like it was very much loyal to Senji, honestly.
Yeah.
Like he needs to be ready, so we need to do everything we can to make him ready. And ultimately her like the fact that she relented and deferred to Goro's decision was her loyalty to the alliance between the 2 clans.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she wanted that outcome.
No, she just wanted to kick his butt.
Yeah. So I think that is very much a Kasori thing.
Then I will get 2 extra dice in my pool.
Okay.
So it turns out that we're both rolling 5 dice.
Oh, how nice. We do that now.
And now we roll our 5 d6s, our dice pool, and we're going to add the number up together. Oh.
Add the number up?
Yes.
So we're not looking for like 5s and 6s. We're just adding the total.
Correct. Whoa.
Okay. Oh,
Okay. What did you get?
17.
Okay. I got a 22,
Woo!
which means that I am victorious. So I gain edges equal to the number of choice tokens that I rolled
That I gave you.
in the chapter. So I will get 3 edges.
Oh boy. Okay.
That's for later use.
Okay.
And then I also get to narrate how this chapter ends.
Great.
The player with the lower total is overcome. You gain hatred equal to the number of edges that the victorious player earned.
Which was how much? 3?
So you get 3 hatred.
Hatred. I have 3 hatred now.
Plus 1 hatred for every die that you rolled that was above a 3.
That's 3.
So you get 6 hatred. Hatred grows when part of you feels you could have won, but didn't.
Yeah, that's exactly how that went.
That is exactly how that went. So this is one of those things that we were collecting them, and they are going to be set aside and used in the finale.
That's what the hatred and edge are for?
And scars.
And scars. Okay. Everything but choice.
Everything but choice.
Choice is like the live one that we collect and do during the scenes. Everything else is for the end.
Correct.
Got it.
So I am going to say that the chapter ends because Goro walks away very frustrated. And the crowd is kind of giggling at Senji, like
nani foo-foo.
Yeah, little, like, probably egging him on a little bit. And Kusari starts to leave the ring, and Senji picks up the reed again and just like whips it at Kusari and catches her across the back.
Hey.
And like Goro sees it and says nothing. Chooses to not even acknowledge it. Which is probably not great for their relationship. Okay, here we go. Next scene. Next chapter.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. I'm going to roll my die to see what my next virtue is. That is going to be.
It'll be our key virtue or whatever. Key guiding virtue.
Guiding virtue. It's honor.
Ooh. Your honor, your honor.
And our focus I'm going to have it be the promises.
Are these the same options that I had before?
Time we still trusted each other, the moment you crossed the line, or the promises. And so I'm going to say it's the promises, the promise that you made to. However, I'm going to look down at our people, our key roles, and we have already used the catalyst. And so I am going to use the coveted person who holds the affections, respect, or trust that one samurai has, which the other so desperately desires. So I'm going to use the coveted. I'm going to
Okay.
wrap that all up into the promises.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that um, this scene takes place um, just after Kasari's wedding.
Okay.
Um, to a member of the Nakamura clan.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and I'm even gonna say that maybe it's Goro's sister, and they are joining the families and the clans. Um, and Kasari has promised to protect her. So we are okay.
I like
Little
the
dance,
groove.
a
Yeah.
little groove. Um, Gor, what do you think your sister's name would be?
Oh, that's not fair. I named Senji. What do you think my
Oh,
sister's name should
I
be?
think, um, let's see. Um, looking up a thing. Give me a moment. I can figure it out.
Standing by.
Standing by.
I am.
La 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 la. Not helping. Okay. Let's look at I think her name is Hana.
Hana.
Hana, Hana. Um, and it is just after the wedding, and Kasari doesn't dislike Hana, but like married outside of the clan for her clan to strengthen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that they are. She has like gone outside to get some air.
Oh,
like
sure. Like
like
this is too much right now.
this is a lot, and so she I think she goes out to the area that is probably also a practice sparring area because that is what she is
It always.
comfortable in, where she's most comfortable. And I think she's in her like her very fancy wedding attire, but like in the middle of the sparring area, sort of going through forms
Mm-hmm.
to
Like
center.
meditative
Mm-hmm.
practice.
Yeah,
I
and
just I think I spaced out or something. You said that Kasori married Hana. Is that correct?
correct. Yeah,
All right. Got it. And Hana is Goro's sister.
correct.
Got it. I thought
So
that's what you had said, but I like missed something.
yeah,
But
that's okay.
I'm all in.
And so I think Goro comes. I think they've worked together, and they're very close. Um, I don't know that they are lovers close, but maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly think that I mean, they teach together. I get the impression that they work together a lot because they're effective.
Right.
Somebody discovered that they're good at this.
Yeah.
So they probably have like forged a bond through that at the very least.
Yeah.
And when you spend all day together, all day, every day, you develop a relationship with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that Goro can certainly tell that Kasari is troubled.
Yeah. In fact, I think that this is the first place he came to look when he noticed that she wasn't in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, for sure. Uh, so he would keep a respectful distance while she's doing her thing, because that's what you do.
Sure.
Don't
And then
rush in.
I think that she would say, like, you just gonna lurk over there, or
I'm not lurking. I was being respectful. I
Mhm.
thought.
Mhm.
Are you okay?
It's just a lot. I'm getting ready to leave again on clan business, and now I have a partner at home, and what does that mean if I don't come back?
Well, you know what my father always said. He
Clean the
always
dishes, woman.
he's no, he always cleaned the dishes. He was very particular about how it was done. Um, my father always said, if you really want to make a marriage work, leave on clan business often.
It's very cynical.
He's a guy who was particular about dishes.
It's true.
It doesn't sound like that helps a lot, but
Yeah.
you smiled.
Yeah.
That's worth something.
I feel like that gets you a choice token.
Yay. Um, are you, is it just that? Are you worried that you're not going to come back?
And there's always a chance I'm not going to come back.
Exactly.
I don't get sent on fluffy clan business.
It's true. It's true.
And I don't want to be sent on fluffy clan business. I don't want this to be a turning point for me where they start sending me on the less dangerous diplomatic assignments just because.
I'm hearing Goro work. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we both have our
Yes,
focuses.
we do. So why should it bother you now? I thought that this was sort of I mean, certainly my sister doesn't harbor any illusions that there's a grand romance in the offing. I think that, it's everyone has their part to play, right?
Sure, but being a warrior's widow is not a life I would wish on anyone. I watched my mother do that, and it's broke her. I don't want that for
Mhm.
anyone. So,
Well, it seems like you don't have a lot of options then,
don't have a lot of options. I guess the option is don't die.
or don't go.
Can't not go.
You can't not die. So what are you going to do? I know what you can do. And he pulls a bottle that he had tucked in his waistband. It's like a bottle of sake. It's too big. and
Well,
he's and he's
where
got
did you even get that? That's
it's a wedding. Two clans,
sure.
We meet in the middle, everyone spends. He's got cups. I think this is the only way. Normally I don't condone this sort of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves you unable to make clear judgments.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's ever stood in your way before.
That's a low blow.
But he
But
pours.
not incorrect. So, yeah, I feel like I understand that it was your choice to make that, but that feels like a Kasari choice. So I'm going to take one
For sure.
for that. And I think like she like just shoots it, just like a real quick one.
We do have plenty more.
Mm-hmm.
He offers the whole bottle.
Yeah, I think takes a slug. I think I think she just gets like rip roaring drunk pretty quick. I don't think she ate a whole lot today. She was
Yeah,
nervous.
getting ready for the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is she dressed? Like, what's wedding attire for?
I think I like very fancy uh whites and reds, I think probably. Super feminine, probably the most feminine you've ever seen her. She's
Hmm. Um,
super girly today.
may I offer a visual
Yeah.
presentation for us because I think this is really effective if they're sort of sitting on a split rail fence facing opposite directions
Okay.
so that anytime we see the face of one, we're seeing the back of
The
the
back
other.
of the other.
And when the camera reverses, we see it the other way around. And every once in a while they look at each other and you can see them both in like a perfect silhouette against the light of the party behind.
Um,
That's a recommendation.
I
It's
like
your
it.
chapter to
I think
tell.
it's great. I think she is encouraging Goro to also imbibe.
Well,
Do,
he's certainly not going to. I think he's going to make it look like he's drinking more than he actually is.
okay.
Um,
That gives
because
you a token, I think, choice
okay,
token.
because what he said, he meant what he said about like this stuff makes you lose your clear head, and that's what he values most about himself is
Sure.
his ability to remain logical and sort of objective in a situation.
Um, I think at this
But he's having
point,
some.
Hana has come out looking
Mm-hmm.
for me.
So who's facing that direction?
You.
Um, so yeah, when Goro sees Hana, um, he's gonna sort of put his head down and kind of laugh a little bit and go, I think we've been away from the party for a pretty long time. We should, somebody's looking for you. Any,
Um,
any waves?
to turn around and see her and like, okay, here
Hey
we go.
girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. Sort of stumble off the fence and
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
um, and head over and like, all right, let's go back inside. You
He's gonna
go.
lag behind a little bit. And the last bit of drink that he was sort of nursing,
Hmm.
like the bottle's long empty.
Oh yeah,
He had maybe two glasses from this, those little like sake glasses.
yeah.
But he tips that last one the rest of the way and chucks the glass. The interns clean that up in the
Yeah,
morning. Go find that.
it's
I
fine.
threw it in the bushes somewhere.
It's here somewhere.
My grandmother's fine china.
Whoops.
I don't know. Do they have fine china in feudal Japan? They don't call it
Yes.
fine Japan, right?
I don't know.
I don't know why we call China China. That's a story for another day.
That's a whole different one single moment.
That's a whole different moment. Yeah, I think he's going to make his way back into the rest of the party.
Yeah. Um, the party, people are noticing that Kasari is drunk.
Mm-hmm. Like making a fool of herself drunk.
Not making a fool of herself, but like is clearly not like she's like stumbly and slurry and like sort of on the verge of.
Mm-hmm. Like not quite sloppy, but a little slippery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Goro, I think, has to I think the wise thing to do in this decision in this moment rather is
Hmm.
to like get her sort of focused and start like winding the party down, start encouraging her to, okay, you can tell everybody to go sleep now. Go. He's actually going to go to Hana
Hmm.
and recommend strongly that it's time to retire.
Hmm.
The party can go on, but y'all need to get,
Hmm.
because things are going to only get worse.
Um, I don't think Kasari wants to leave.
I'm certain of that.
Hmm. So I think this is another standoff moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like theoretically we're supposed to have seven choices, but this sort of feels like the end of the scene because it feels like whoever wins this scene
Get what they want.
should get to figure out the end of the story of this scene.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that means we're rolling low dice. Um,
It feels right though. Like as
it
long as
does
we're
feel
comparing it
right.
to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So that means that I would have two dice and you would have one die.
Okay.
But things align. I think of the two of us, I think Goro definitely is the one that was in tune with the ebb and flow of the world, so to speak. And so I think you embodied honor far more than, than
That may be
Kasari
fair.
did. And so you would get two extra die.
Two extra dice. Okay.
Um, and now we're going to roll to see who is victorious and who is overcome.
Okay.
Oh,
And we add them.
and
We
you add
total
them
it.
together.
All
I
right.
did. I didn't do great that time.
What did you get that time?
Got a 4.
I got a 10.
Okay. So you are victorious, which
Woo.
means that you get
So I get
you
one
get
edge.
one edge, one edge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I get one hatred,
For
um,
each die I rolled, or for each
edge that you
edge that I
earned.
earned. Okay.
Yeah.
That was just one.
Um, and then I didn't roll anything above a 3, so I don't get an extra hatred for that because I rolled a 1
Okay. And it doesn't
and a
matter that
3.
if I rolled above 3. It's
No,
just for you.
it's just me.
Okay.
Um,
I
uh,
got an edge.
you got an edge, and then we move on. Choice is done. Scene
Woo.
1, scene 2. Um, this would be an excellent place to take a quick bio break. Um, I don't necessarily suggest folks at home watching this have as much sake as Kasari did during that chapter of her life. But, grab yourself something to drink, grab yourself something to eat, have a little, use the restroom, stretch out, do a couple of meditation forms, and then come back and do a little dance like
Do
that.
this. Great.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back from the break. Ba, 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 ba. On the break, we convened in the kitchen and I ate
We discovered
marshmallows.
that
We
we
discovered a
did
thing.
something.
Yeah. So we have one chapter left before we move on to like the final single moment, which is important. But I apologize for robbing you of this, but you as the victorious player gets to narrate how that previous chapter ended.
Okay. I think that we were pretty much in how I would have ended it if I were writing that scene anyway.
Okay.
I think what would I think maybe the one piece that we don't see is that they do Hana is able to get Kasori to finally leave, and there's maybe we see a bit of sadness or wistfulness or something on Goro's features as they're leaving.
Okay.
Who knows what that could be? This has been a very emotional. It's his sister and his best friend slash training partner.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff going on in his brain.
Okay, give me a roll for the virtue that is going to be guiding this last chapter.
Alrighty. How about a 6 again? I can't stop rolling 6s.
Rectitude.
Rectitude.
A story of dying when the time to die is right, of striking when the moment to strike is right. It is the foundation of all the other virtues, the unwavering power behind a decision of morality. The one that is left is the moment you crossed the line. I remember that which you did that began all this. And what is left is the victim.
Oh, man.
The victim can be...
I already know who it is.
Okay. I was going to say it can be the same. Someone can but
I think the story we're telling makes a lot of sense if we are all away on clan business and Senji is with us.
Okay.
I think today is the day that things finally break.
Okay, so we are away on clan business. What is the clan business that we are away on?
I think the clan business is ostensibly to I think it's supposed to be one of those like you're on a diplomatic mission, but like if you find some papers lying around, if you find some if you can get some extra information out of some of the people around town, if you can loosen some tongues, maybe you should before you leave. Like I think it's sort of an espionage kind of situation, and in a situation like that, you've got some people who are very clearly like your ambassador type people, and you have like your security
Goro,
people,
which is Kasari.
Yeah, and you have then you have like everybody else sort of supports that.
Okay.
Right? I think, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think there's a neighboring clan that tensions have been rising with, and we're hoping to sort of diffuse some of that.
Okay.
While also maybe gaining a little bit of extra information that we can maybe use to gain the upper hand if things go south.
Great.
Um, so this scene is going to be staged at I think it's like the beginning of Phantom Menace,
Hmm.
right? Like we're in a waiting area, waiting to speak to the whoever like the major domo is for the Lord or whoever, like there's got to be somebody who is like their diplomatic liaison, and we're waiting to be like ushered into their chambers, right?
Okay. The three of us?
There, I think there's more. Like we have a contingency with us, but
Sure.
there's a small group with us. There's probably somebody else who's uh, from Clan Ushinata
Hmm.
who is more diplomatically minded. I think that we approach. I think that there are like one of each, right?
Okay.
Because
So there are four of us,
yeah, I think that's right.
a talker and a fighter from
Mhm.
each.
Each, yeah, we just
Hmm.
mix and match.
Great.
Yeah, it's got away team written all over it.
Absolutely.
um, and I think Senji is getting a bit impatient and is like pacing
Hmm.
and like looking behind art and like that thing you do and you're like I feel like I should be doing something but I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Um, and I Goro will say, I don't think they're hiding any big secrets behind the paintings. Try to relax. This will all be over soon.
I think Kasari is like taking a nap.
Yeah.
You know how like that's a thing that soldiers like just grab rest wherever you can
Mm-hmm.
grab rest. And I think
Special forces
yeah,
always like just sleep.
yeah, I think she's just like in chair like will be awake when somebody comes in, but is sort of just trusting she's gotten past the I have to pace and look at everything phase, like
Mm-hmm.
in her warrior career. I think she's just like taking a little snooze so that she can be ready for when things are going to pop off. Because I think she has the feeling that it's going to be maybe a little bloody here.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I think it takes a long time for anybody to come to the room, but the door finally opens and there's sort of a couple people like come through. One is obviously the person we're here to see.
Okay.
Very, very expressive and very big and welcome. We're so sorry to keep you waiting. And Senji is very happy to finally have something change in the
Yeah.
situation. I think Kasori would wake up enough now, like
Yeah.
things have changed. It's time to
Yeah.
work.
I think upon the door opening, I think she's
Mm-hmm. The sound like
yep,
yeah.
she's back.
Um, while Goro and the clan Ushinata diplomat are talking with this person, Kasori notices a rustling outside through one of the windows.
She's gonna make eye contact with Goro and
Mm-hmm.
do a little head nod toward the window. Um, and then go.
And
She's gonna
he's yep, just like like
right,
he
sure.
gives her the like, okay, but be cool.
And
Look,
she kind of like
fine.
do the thing. Like
Yeah, Goro keeps the conversation going. It's nonsense stuff, right? It's all
sure.
like trade routes and safe passage for emissaries, and it's stuff that Kasori could not care less about.
No, definitely not.
um,
Just
you hear a
glazes
lot
over.
of you hear a lot of like platitudes, like "oh fair one" and "no this."
Mm-hmm.
It's just ugh, it makes you want to vomit.
I think there is somebody outside the window with like a ranged weapon of some kind.
Yes, absolutely. I think what you're gonna see out there is a couple of people sort of you're you're trained to look for it so you can spot them right away.
Yeah.
But you see like a group of what are probably assassins.
Great.
They're just villagers, farmers, whatever. They're not dressed in any particular way, but they're like being sneaky.
I'm a disable them.
Okay, they are outside still.
Yeah, I'm going out the window.
Okay. Well, you definitely take a choice token for that.
I made a choice.
Somebody's gonna notice that you've done this.
Mm-hmm. Just like drop from above onto them.
Yeah. Yeah, we're on like the second floor of this.
Yep.
And there's people like there's one of here, one's kind of across the street still. You can see that there are a few people around.
Yeah.
This is also just like a busy town. So there are people around, but these ones are the ones who are being suspicious.
Well, I'm gonna drop on the one that's like closest to me.
Mm-hmm. The one you can drop on, absolutely. Yep. You just kind of like disappear out the window, and you hear a rustle, like you hear a couple shouts behind you, and like oh my
oh dear,
goodness gracious me. And you drop down and you make short work of the would-be assassin who is
I'm not there. I mean, she's not gonna kill him,
right? Just like disable.
Like she's knocking this one out. There are 3 that she saw. Her plan is to knock this one out and then to very quickly get to the second one and knock them out because she knows they're going to try to flee, and then overtake the third one to bring them back to be like, hey man,
what's up? What's up? Yeah, so you get through the first one very quickly.
Great.
As you're...
Is that a second choice token for me? No.
I don't think so. I think this is still part of the same
choice.
Yeah, this still is the same thing.
Got it.
But well, I think you'll get another one because the situation changes outside of your sphere of control.
Okay.
When you're getting to the second guy is the time that you hear something hit the bushes and you hear footfalls and you're like hog tying the other guy.
It's got to be Senji.
And Senji is darting across the courtyard and he's got like blades out. And he's just charging and is not being chill at all.
I gotta tackle him. This is not gonna help.
Okay. Yeah. He certainly doesn't want you to, but you're going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah. As you tackle him.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no blades.
Yeah. In that moment is when the third person who he was running toward like lifts up their blowpipe and
into Senji,
into like sort of you tackle him and you lift him up to say no blades, and it like right into like the back of his neck. Yes. So he immediately like sort of seizes up, and it's clear that like I don't know how to like he's been poisoned. I don't know how to like describe the situation other than just like he's not just like it's not just the dart that hurt him, but like something really bad is happening. He's starting to like convulse, and his eyes are rolling back, and he's frothing a bit at the mouth, and he's just like looking at you confused and pained. And Goro comes out the front of the building at this point, and he's like, he didn't jump out the window.
What?
He and his partner come running up, and they're sort of like ready for action here.
I'm gonna push Senji onto Goro and say, poison. And then point at where the third person was running away. And then like, just trust that you are going to do something and like run off after the assassin.
Yeah, I think I have to give you another choice token for that. Because this is a terrible idea.
It is.
But it's so Goro and Senji are left to sort of deal with the situation.
Yeah.
You have certain tools with you that you generally use, but this is like the like antidote pills that you keep on hand, the whatever like extracts and stuff that you keep in your pouches for this sort of occasion. This is clearly some other kind of
it's like not working.
Yeah, it's not stabilizing him. He's just getting worse and worse, and Goro is just helpless to deal with it, and he like just puts his hand on Senji's heart, right? And he's feeling it. He's feeling for the heartbeat, but he's also trying to calm him.
Yeah,
he's trying to give him. He's trying to grant him safe passage because he knows at this point there's nothing he can do to save him.
And I think you should get a choice token for that.
Okay. Senji is looking hurt and confused, and like he just doesn't understand what's happening or how we got here. But Goro lets him pass, and closes his eyes for him and sets him down. And he turns and looks up at the window, and the ambassador has sort of like a very cold and hard look on his face. So they
were here for us.
Yeah, I think the underlying story that's happening here is that this was never going to succeed. But the only way we really could have learned the stakes was because one of us died here. So by virtue of that, Senji's sacrifice makes our position as a clan, as clans, clear, but Goro is livid that this got to this situation, this got to this point, that he allowed Senji to be trained in a way that would lead him to such a rash action that would put him out here in the middle of something that was obviously out of his control. The chips were stacked against him. He acted. and he lost. And Goro's ticked.
I think Kasuri has lost the third assassin, but the second one is still awake but hogtied, and so she comes back. So sorry, I lost the third man, but we can talk to this one, and like hauls this one over.
I will talk to him.
Expecting Goro to do his like diplomatic, I can find answers thing.
And Goro says, I will talk to him. I think you've done enough.
Oh.
And he grabs the guy's like collar, his shirt, and shoves him up against the wall. And he just like bashes his head into the post a few times.
Whoa.
And he's just like screaming at him.
Kasari is going to try to like, I mean, he's a dirtbag. Yeah.
Sure,
but like,
go ahead.
But also that's not going to get us any answers kind of a thing. So like, hey, we need you to be you right now.
Goro wheels on Kasori and sort of, I'm going to say spits, but he doesn't spit.
Right. It's like,
it's the words out.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit late for answers now. I think we know all we need to know. It's very clear that we are not welcome here, and we could have found that answer without jumping out the window and getting this boy killed.
Clearly take a choice token there.
Okay. Taken.
She's gonna step back. Clearly you have all the answers, just like always. Go ahead.
That's fine. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't make this my fault. I have been trying since day one to instill the idea of wise patience. But you thought he needed to be able to just run in. Well, now he has. And now I have to carry him home. I'm not happy about this. But
I think that's another choice token for you.
Or for me?
Mm-hmm.
But I recognize that it could have been a lot worse had you not acted. This mistake was made long ago, and it's too late to worry about it now. It's time to go home. We've done what we can here. And he just starts walking away. And he like Senji up on his shoulders.
This feels like the end of the scene, even though we've only done 6.
I think so.
And so we each have 3 to roll.
Wow.
I'll
roll 3 green ones this time.
Well, hang on now. Who aligned? Who represented rectitude?
I think Kasori did, because it was by like not necessarily within the scene, but just by virtue of life path.
Yeah.
I think she created the situation that led to this point, or she fostered the situation that led to this point.
Okay.
It certainly was more her than it would have been Goro. Absolutely.
Sure. All right, so I will roll 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what happens. Whoa.
I rolled pretty high.
Me too.
Uh-oh. You rolled how many? Five?
I
Five
rolled
dice?
5. Yeah. I rolled 25.
Whoa. I thought 15 on 3 dice was pretty good.
It is.
It is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Well, I lost.
Okay. So I got 3 edge. 2, 3.
Okay.
Oh, you could have taken a scar. You still can.
Nah.
Okay.
I already think it's interesting that the scar I took earlier was that Senji and Goro don't like each other.
Yeah.
And he found himself in the position of having to like mourn this kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
And I mean, we say kid, but I think he's an adult person.
Yeah.
He's just younger than we are.
Right. Yeah. This is probably years after those.
Yeah, and like kid in the way that you say that about like a 22-year-old sort of a thing.
You hear that, 22-year-olds?
Your kids.
Your kids.
Nailed it.
Your kids.
Your kids.
Weird. Weird thing to say.
I know. We say weird things. So then you are overcome, and you will get 3 hatred.
Oh boy. Plus something for
every die that you rolled above a 3.
That's all 3 of them.
So then you will get 6 hatred.
2, 3. Dear Lord.
Okay, hold on. So
yeah.
First of all, we're gonna resolve the chapter.
Dear Lord. Yeah.
I will tell you what I think happened. I think that you lead us home, and I think that you know what? I think that Kasari is sort of overcome with guilt. What you said like really got to her. And so she like leaves. She doesn't go home with you. I think she has to go somewhere else. Go do some soul searching and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So now we are on to the moving into the final resolve.
Oh boy.
Now we're going to do something called dealing with hatred.
I've got a lot.
You sure do.
I've been banking it.
I do not. I only got 1 hatred this whole time.
Well, don't worry. I got you covered.
12, right?
I have 12, yeah.
Okay, so I can roll. So you can channel your anger. You have more options. So let me do this. I only can channel my anger. I can turn my hatred into an edge.
Okay.
Each player describes a course of action he had taken away from the other samurai's notice in preparation for the final fight. I think that this sort of leads into it, right? So I am going to roll my hatred die. I'm going to go like Yoda it a little bit off in the swamp, just like go and like meditate and center and calm and forgive myself and all that stuff. So I'm going to roll a die. If it is even, it becomes an edge. But if it is odd, it becomes a scar. My hatred.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 2. So I've come to terms with it, and it is now an edge.
Okay. Great.
You have the option to let go of your hatred because it has to be, in order to have this option, it has to be above 10 hatred.
Well, that's where I am.
Right. So you have options. You can roll all 12 of your D6s and potentially get a bunch of scars and a bunch of edges. All of the evens will turn into edges. All of the odds will turn into scars.
This is the thing that you just did.
Right.
Focus your hatred. Is that what it was called?
Channel your anger.
Channel your anger.
Or you can
Focus your hatred. I like that.
let go of your hatred, and if you let it go, you can get rid of scars equal to half the number of your hatred points, but it does not give you any more edges.
Oh, do the scars have some sort of impact on the final showdown?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that the proceedings of this man's life have fundamentally changed him
Mm-hmm.
to the point where he knows that the thing he is supposed to do is to let go of his hatred and to be honorable. But I think especially when Kasori left and disappeared,
Mm-hmm.
I think it just lit a fire in him that was just like he feels like the flame of vengeance is burning brightly within him.
Okay.
So I think he's I have to deal with all of these, right? One way or another.
You have to do, yeah.
Okay. Rolling all 12 seems insane.
It does.
Can you roll some and let go of some? I don't think so. Huh?
So, I mean,
says either.
it has to be above 10. Yeah. So like it seems like
I'm gonna just roll them all.
roll them. Roll them.
I only have 6 dice in front of me, so I'm gonna have to do this a couple times.
Okay.
And I'm looking for evens, right?
Evens turns it into edges.
Odds
turns it into scars.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I'll make 2 categories here.
Okay.
I've got 3 and 3 for that first roll.
Okay. 3 evens, three odds.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And my next 6 dice. That one ended up on its side. Okay. This is again 3 and 3.
Wow.
Oh, I rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that time.
Whoa,
Wow.
wild.
Large straight. Okay, so 3 and 3 again. Oh boy. What are these scars? This is so many scars.
Yeah. They can be emotional.
It's just like, can it just be like can we call it like a degree of
Well,
like impact?
listen,
because it is emotional. Okay.
No, because they have mechanical.
Great.
Okay. So we are back. We are now to the finale. We are back to the single moment, which is the opening scene that we described. This is a time of falling leaves. We stand in the abandoned alleys of the city. Whoever had the most hatred, which was you, acts first as the attacker. You will declare a move, and then I will declare how I defend against it.
Okay.
And then you will roll a single die. You have to have each exchange requires an edge dice from the attacker, and the defender rolls for free.
Okay.
Both roll at the same time. Attacker must roll higher than the defender to score a hit. Just like in the scenes, winner describes how it is resolved.
Okay. So there are a number of attacks equal to the number of edges.
Correct. I have 7. How many do you have?
I also have 7.
Wild. Okay.
Yeah.
The loser also gets a scar.
Okay. What is the sort of what are we working toward here? Is there a determination as to like
the fight ends once one player runs out of edges, and then when you're done with that, we like do the final
Then there's
epilogue.
like another thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So I'm the angry one first.
You go first.
We're back to this alley. I think this is where I think he heard that
Where you like,
Kasori had come back out of
yeah,
hiding and he tracked her down. So I think he's gonna do the classic like lunge run slash like
coming out
going
swinging.
for it. Yeah.
Okay. So
Like
mark down that
he's Anakin.
you used an edge.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll to defend. Yeah.
Not yeah for me.
Uh-oh. Okay, I rolled a 6.
I only rolled a 3.
I just like scoot out of the way.
Yeah.
I just like matrix it a little bit.
You know how far away you have to be to not get hurt.
Yeah. And I'm going to use one of my edges. I'm going to try to disarm you.
Okay.
So I get to roll my 1 and then you roll to defend.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 4.
Okay. How does that resolve?
Still armed. So I think you're. I think
I'm sorry.
you just
you took I take a scar now, and you took a scar in that first one.
Oh, okay. I think because I sort of lunged past and you sidestepped.
Yeah.
You were in a good spot to try and like
pop,
whack, you know, and I've trained with you long enough that I was expecting that move coming, so I was able to like clamp, like get a hand in the way or stop it from working, right?
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. How are you attacking now?
So I think because of that, it's elbow up, right? Your hand is occupied. Now I can just lean in and
to
your
throat,
your jaw, right? Like
jaw.
Ring your bell.
Oh no.
6.
I got a 2, so I take another scar. So tell me what happens.
I pop you one, and I think that separates us. Right?
Separates.
Boom, and you kind of like, yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't like that so much, and you're clearly irrational. So I'm gonna try to, like in that first flashback scene, I'm gonna try to kick low to knock it to your knees.
Okay.
Oh no.
I only rolled a 1.
I also only rolled a 1.
So what happens?
Okay. On ties, both players. Oh, this is interesting. You've like we've done the equivalent of locking blades. And we must blind bid more edge than the other to win the lock, or we get a scar.
And you spend that edge?
Spend the edge. You can bid 0.
Okay. All right. Do you want to like do a number and hold it up?
Yeah.
All right. On the count of 3.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, so
I spend 2
edge and I spend 1 edge. But that means that I lost. I take a scar, and you narrate.
So we lock for a moment. You're like kicking at my knees, but again, I know that move, right? So he brings his leg up, and like they actually kind of lock their ankles together for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he like does a quick little like you would disarm a blade, right? You kind of flick, and it sends you like tumble. Yeah.
All right. It is your attack. So you will spend. What is your next move?
I think the next move is like a because you rolled, he's going to advance and like axe kick up in the air to try and come down on you.
Yeah, I rolled a 6.
Woof. All right. Well, I rolled a 3.
You take a scar, and I think she just rolls out of the way.
Yeah, and I spent an edge to do that, right?
Yes, because that was your attack.
That was an attack. Yes. Okay.
I'm still on the ground.
Do the thing where you like roll a couple of feet and then boof, the dusty footprint.
I'm still on the ground. I'm a sweep the leg, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm spending an edge to sweep the leg.
Okay.
I've got 3 edge left.
All right. I do not.
I rolled another 6.
I did too.
Oh. All right. So we're gonna bid again.
Okay.
You can bid 0.
Mm-hmm.
And you can if a tie happens, nobody gets a scar and nothing happens. Like
we just like we move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I got it. You ready?
All right. Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Tie again. So we spend it.
So we each spend the 1. Nobody gets a scar.
Woo.
And just reviewing real quick again.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me that
neither gets a scar. So we just like
a scar, and we probably what's happening
separated
here. Yeah, probably what's happening is you go to sweep his leg and he voluntarily like rolls over it. So you're both kind of spinning and rolling in opposite directions. So we both like wow.
But that was my attack. So it is now your attack.
Okay. This is my last edge that I'm spending.
Okay.
And I think he's just gonna like from this like crouched position, he's gonna spring up into like that slow motion and he's gonna come down with his fist and just this is all he's got left.
Okay.
He's spending all of it right now with a 6.
That's more than I have. I had a 5.
Ooh. That did spend my last edge though.
Okay. So what did you punch me?
Yeah, I did that cool like the camera comes back to a wide shot and I'm flying in the air slow motion. You know? Like when Morpheus jumps up to attack Neo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. But I come down and just like he brings all the emotion of the last 20 years into this one fist. Just doof.
So you are out of edges.
I'm out of edge.
Once one player is out of edges, the other player has an opportunity to commit a killing strike. This time, however, each remaining unspent edge translates into an automatic scar that the defender receives if the attacker wins the exchange. I have 2 edge, so I'm using 1 to attack, but then the other one will automatically turn into a scar if this attack succeeds.
Okay.
But I don't think. I mean, she's going to do a killing strike to end the fight, but she's not going to kill him.
It's a end the fight strike.
It's sort of an honorary. She doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So, she's going to do like a ritualistic disarming. I'm going to say there's probably like a make it very clear you are disarmed and she's got the advantage.
Yeah, like
but it
this fight is over kind of situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
And I get to still defend.
You still get to defend.
Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, brother.
I only rolled a 3.
I rolled a 2.
Okay. And you have more scars than I do.
Undoubtedly.
I have,
Did you have any extra that can get converted? You
yeah,
defeated me on that last one, so I earned one for that anyway, right?
yeah, and then an extra one because I still have 1 edge left.
Great. Yeah,
I have 4
most.
scars.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Got it.
there's no sudden final killing strike as well. If I had failed, you could have tried to kill me right back.
Sure. No need.
So I am triumphant in that I won the fight but chose not to kill you, and now the results of the finale are in this epilogue, and we get to narrate how the story ends. So it starts with me sharing what happened directly after the end of the finale, and then you are going to add to it.
Mm-hmm.
It says, it is prudent that the defeated keep the narrative just as dramatic, but still favor the triumphant. So she pins, Kasari pins Goro, kicking his blades away and taking, I'm going to say, the blade that he always thought was so cleverly hidden out of his hiding spot that he's been using the same one for,
Sure.
25 years,
Right.
and holds it to his throat, and she says the same thing that she has said every time that she was able to pin him, which was frequently. She says, that's one more for me. And then she just sort of like eases up off of him and stands up and back, calm. This is definitely, they have sort of switched places in the centeredness and emotion. And she sheaths his blade in the same sort of hiding spot on her that he had always kept on him, and just sort of like folds her hands calmly in a very like sort of infuriating, oh God, is that what I used to look like kind of way.
Yeah. I think Goro he's come to, in this moment, he's come to appreciate how they have really reversed roles, and he's roundly beaten. He's defeated in a way that he never believed he could be. He feels like nothing is true and everything is wrong, and he is just shaking his head and spits blood on the ground. And how do you live like this? It's not this fire. It's not good. And he's just sort of off in his own reverie. It's maybe clear now that he has not really taken stock of his feelings about this, that maybe this has been sort of a slow burn thing for him, and he is now realizing how much he's let it dominate his life. It's just slumped.
Yeah, I think she's all right. I'm supposed to share how the story ends, and
Mhm.
I think that I think the camera stays pretty tight on Goro, and I think that we see her feet walk into view, come into frame, and then she puts down a piece of paper folded, piece of parchment folded, and a bottle of sake on it. And then she exits frame. And Goro reaches out after he sort of collects himself, and there's an address. I think she has like extended the olive branch in a way of like I 100% could have killed you. I had you dead to rights, but that's not going to help anybody. So like
Mm-hmm.
just sort of
we're too good for that.
Yeah, just sort of leaves it
Mhm.
there. And I think that this particular story ends before we find out if he seeks her out ever.
I think we need that wide shot with him in silhouette against the sunset with the leaves blowing through.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so that was a single moment.
It was.
It was.
It was a lot of moments.
It was several moments leading up to a single moment. Let's do our moments of gratitude. Our single moment of gratitude.
A single moment of gratitude. Mine. This feels like a bit of a cop out, but I like that. I always feel that when we get to play a game together like this, we sort of innately gravitate toward sort of fire and ice kind of stories.
Yeah.
In a way that is always very interesting, but I thought that the way that you were able to help usher this into like a reversal story was without us talking about it,
Yeah.
just sort of letting it happen. I got very excited about that when I started seeing what was happening, and I'm glad it resolved that way. And I appreciate that you didn't make a big deal out of it, that you just let it happen.
I just did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also thought I really leaned on your like you are much more familiar with the samurai genre of
And I
film
don't know Jack
than I am.
Basically, I've seen the first two Lone Wolf and Cub movies.
I mean,
That's about it.
That feels good. That's good. But like I feel like you brought the proper tone of the story to it, and so I really appreciated that I could like match with that. Then you were
Great.
finding those spaces, and I was going with you there. And like just thank you for coming and being on my table. I always like it when you can come and play.
I do too. It's extra work because then I'd still have work after this on the show, but
yeah,
I do enjoy getting to play new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, where can we find you on the internet? And tell us about your project.
You can find my personal Twitter account is JWMore511. And you can find the Twitter account for the game I'm working on at Lands Vanishing. Also on Instagram at The Vanishing Lands. And you can find me at thevanishinglands.com to find a little bit more information about the game. It is an RPG it's kind of a system agnostic setting, set of rules rather. But I've created a setting that means that anything you build within it can coexist with the rest of them. If you one day play and build a fairy tale land where you're fighting against wicked witches and gingerbread men, but then the next time you're in a cyberpunk future city or you're flying airships in a steampunk metropolis, all these places can be together and connected. So your game can really grow into its own campaign using the same set of sort of simple rules. And some of the feedback that we've gotten from playtesters has been that the game is very, very beginner friendly. So people who maybe have been watching RPGs on YouTube or on Twitch and they want to get into it, but they don't really know how, this kind of makes it easy on you. I explain it as a cross between sort of an OSR style, everything can kill you kind of rules kind of game, with sort of a more modern narrative style game where nothing has to kill you if you can explain it away. So we've been having a great time with it. Anything goes. Our current game that we're running
He's so weird.
Wild. It's basically a bunch of LARPers with paper mache armor who have found themselves in a fantasy land who now have to survive.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. We haven't done session 1, but we already built the world and the characters.
And one of the truths that we have discovered about it is that no one can die on the battlefield. So like, what does that mean? There's some magic stuff happening.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be super rad. Again, just wanted to say this was a single moment by Tobie. You can find it on DriveThruRPG. There are rules to extend it to make it a little bit longer. It's always a 2-person RPG. I believe that a second moment has solo play rules and group play rules so that you could maybe get more people in it. But another thing that they have in the playbook, it's only like $6, so definitely check it out. There are rules so that you could do it in a Western setting. There's the Knight's Tale setting. There's over-the-top pulp action setting. There is space opera and rom-com. So like there's sort of something for everybody. And if you have if you and your partner like to play RPGs and sometimes have a hard time finding a group, this is a game that can be 6-in-1 games. You can and it's always going to be different, and there's rule sets for everybody. Definitely check that out.
This was super fun.
Yeah.
I thought that this had a great amount of like mechanical support. When I needed a rule, it had a rule for it. So it felt really intuitive that way. And I felt guided by the system, which is wonderful.
Yeah. And you can, like I said, they made a point of saying that if you wanted it to be much longer, each scene in your flashback could literally be its own session, or you could divide it into 7 sessions, because you could play the whole night until you got to the first choice token, and that's how you would end each session, was like the next choice token that you could, if you wanted to do a big expanded epic story, you could absolutely expand this into campaign play. Would be awesome. Wild. Yeah. But you could do it.
You could easily do it.
Yeah. I'm Sarah Moore. You can find me on the internet pretty much everywhere at Pixies and Pins. You can find me at pixiesandpins.com. You can find me here on Gen Con TV every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't know what we're playing next week. I don't know.
Surprises are great.
It's going to be great. I do know the week after next, we are going to be playing Nancy Druid, which is a brand new game that is getting ready to come out by Ninth Level Games. And then after that, we're going to have an epic crossover event with Actoroki and World of Chaldea. And then we're diving into a couple episode arc of The Crowned, which I am working on. And we're getting ready to kickstart it. So like, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up. And then next week, like, something's going to happen. I don't know what it is yet. Something. It's going to be great. I would like to thank Gen Con for giving me this platform to continue to spotlight indie games and really just love RPGs and have some joyful gaming. I would like to thank I get to thank you twice today, Jeff. Thank you for being
Yeah.
on the show and thank you for being my editor. And like, if it's hard today, then you did this to yourself.
It's my own fault.
So
Sure.
I just want you to remember that in the
Thank
future.
you.
You're welcome. I love you. And I would like to thank Marcus Mays, who is hitting the go button at Gen Con TV and making sure that we're all running smoothly. I appreciate you. And like, thank you all for watching because I really like being able to show you sort of non-traditional RPG moments. And I think that like single player RPGs or two-player RPGs are just something that you don't see a lot represented. I think it's really cool that I am able to show it to you. So, do you have any parting thoughts or any party thoughts?
I like those little popper things that look like champagne bottles, and you pull them and they go pop, and the little paper comes out.
Yeah, that's fun too. I
I
like
think
that.
about those a lot, more than probably a lot of people do.
How often is a lot?
More often than you think.
Wow.
Like if you think of a number, it's probably more
It's
than
higher.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm glad we had this talk.
Yeah, now you know that.
I feel
No more
good about it.
secrets. I'm all in.
No more secrets. This is the last one.
That was it. I've been holding on to that one.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will hopefully see you all next week. So as always, keep making art and keep being art. We'll see you next time. Mwah.